So clearly, to actually move towards this objective, organisations need to be asking the right questions. They need to be facilitating the process with the right tools. They need to have clear business objectives. They need the C-suite support, and they need the right mindset within the business. When we talk about this kind of future planning, do you see a clear place where that responsibility sits and a clear function when that responsibility sits? Or do you think there is almost room for a new category here of specialist? And I had an interesting conversation recently with Bruce from Allegis, and basically he was talking about this idea of a work design architect, this conceptual role of, he's very much a future thinker. He was and basically sort of saying, is there an opportunity for a role that's specifically designed to be sitting there looking at all the information that's going on in the business, looking at the trends in the market, and really driving towards saying this type of role is going to come up in 5 years? And is that going to be an important part of the infrastructure? Or, so that's Bruce Morton's point so there's an opportunity there. And he wrote a book about this sort of stuff prior to the pandemic, which then the pandemic kind of accelerated some of his suggestions. But if you look at that and you look at the roles that exist, do you see that capability being something that is already there, or does it need separating out?
I think some of the skills you've described do exist. I think part of the challenge that brings is they exist in parts of roles in different parts of the function. So inevitably, job design, in my opinion, is a core HR skill and has been for many, many years. The challenge has been job design has kind of sat in two camps. You've got the job design, kind of org design bit, which a good HR function would probably have a capability in. And then you've got part of the kind of fulfillment of that sat between resourcing, talent management, and then even compensation and benefits getting involved in terms of job size, because that then determines, quite a lot of things. So I think job design in its strategic sense has sat as a potential capability in HR, but has been fragmented. Does it exist in its pure form? Probably. I'm sure some tech firms probably have something that resonates along these lines. I've not seen it myself, but I would be surprised if, particularly, in kind of biotech or technology more generally, particularly where they've got long life cycles for product, I would imagine that it's a key part of the capabilities to plan forward all of the skills you need to bring that product to market and all the revenues that then brings. It's not my experience, but I would imagine that's more prevalent in those kind of sectors. Should it exist? Yeah, it should. And I think personally, it's a core skill of HR, and I think there is a role in HR for somebody to be effectively strategic workforce planning or head of strategic workforce planning. But there's a whole different podcast we could do about the pros and cons of that, to be honest.